So, whenever I tell people that I am a yoga teacher, the first thing they say is, oh my goodness, I would love to do yoga. I really need to. Oh, I want to. I just don't have the time. That's the first thing that is said. And I used to be that person. I used to talk about all the time that I did not have to do yoga. It's when I thought yoga was one thing. It was when I thought it was solely what you do on the mat. It is just the asana. It is not. Yoga is so much more than just asana. Asanas are important. Don't get me wrong. But they're not the end all and be all. Yoga is about connecting with self. Yoga is about inquiry of self. Yoga is about taking out moments in your day to really commune and connect with yourself. And that does not happen solely on a mat. That happens when you are driving to work. That happens when you are standing in line at the grocery store. That can happen when you are taking a shower. It is about using your breath to help heal your body. And our breath is with us all the time. So if you are one of the folks who says you don't have time for yoga, do realize that you do, because every breath can be a yogic breath if you have intention, if you are using your mind to direct that breath, if you are using your heart to let that breath heal you, then you have the 24 hours of each day to practice yoga. So there's that part. The other part is the asana, getting on the mat, taking out that time. When you say you don't have time for you, is that true? Or would you need to re-examine your life and reconfigure how you're using your time? Do you need to spend an hour on the mat? No. Is that like a prerequisite that it's an hour and a half? No. You can spend 15 minutes on the mat. But what moving the body does is it gives the oxygen an opportunity to really circulate throughout the body. So it's important that we move our body. We weren't designed to sit at a desk. We were not designed for that. We were not designed to look at a screen all day. That's not what we were designed to do. When you say, I don't have time for yoga, I've got kids, because I remember that. What you're not saying, but your kids are definitely hearing, is that I am not important. My well-being is not important. And if your well-being isn't important, how can their well-being be important? If you aren't willing to take out the time to take care of yourself, how can you possibly take care of someone else when they are struggling and need your help? You won't be able to do it from a full capacity because you yourself is worn down. Ever notice when your kids are working your nerves, their little voices grating at your ears, their touch is too much? Are those the days that you are stressed, overwhelmed, and haven't taken out time for you? Are those the days that you snap and yell at the kids for really no reason? Probably. So when you say that you don't have time for self, what you're really saying is that you just don't have time. You just don't have time. And so what are you doing? What are you doing with your time? I've been kind in asking people and showing compassion with folks trying to figure out, like, how do I work this in my life? But I think the time of still compassion, but of softness is gone. Like, now it's time to be hard. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing? You're working? So you give all of your time away to someone else for an invaluable piece of paper. That's what you're saying. That's what's most important in your life, is giving away all of your time to a company that you just don't have any time for you, yourself, or your family, because this time is the most important time that you have, and you're giving it away. Okay. Maybe that's the case. If that's the case, don't say you want to do yoga. You don't. Don't say it. You don't. You don't mean that. You like the sound of saying that you want to do yoga. It sounds trendy. It sounds like you are taking care of yourself if you do. Yeah, nah. We're not about sound bites. We're not about sound bites. If you aren't willing to make yourself important, nobody else will. Then why should I? Why should I? Why should I offer? Why should I offer classes that are conducive to work schedules? Why should I offer anything if you really aren't being honest? You really don't want to do it. You're really not interested. You really don't care about yourself. Well, I offer it waiting for the day that you do. I offer it waiting for the moment that you realize that putting your second, third, fourth, fifth, or wherever you fall on that ladder is irresponsible, is negligent, it's not cute. Speaking of wellness does not equate to wellness. You don't need to buy anything to have wellness. You don't need to subscribe to anything to have wellness. You need to make the commitment to yourself. You need to make the commitment to your family. You need to prioritize yourself and ensure that your family understands that prioritization. It's not a matter of just prioritizing yourself, but then your kids don't know that this is your sacred time. No. It's about setting boundaries and teaching the little people, this is mommy's time. And please don't interrupt. Period. Like, you can do that. You can say that. Your kids are not going to fall apart from you not attending to their needs for 30 minutes. They will survive. And this idea that we have to be on call for everyone else 24 hours a day and never be on call for ourselves is ridiculous, and it needs to be replaced. Your children have the capacity to wait. They do. Your children have the capacity to understand me time. You know why they do? Because they get it. They take me time, they will walk away from you and go play by themselves. And they do not respond when you talk to them, when you call their names. They're in their own world and they're not thinking about you. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. They do it every day. I have worked as a teacher in daycares. I've seen them do it. They will walk off, get immersed in play, and quite literally ignore you. But yet we feel, as the adults in their lives, that we cannot take that same sort of time for ourselves. They show us how to take it. They show us how to do it unapologetically. They don't ask for permission. They don't beg for your forgiveness. They just take the time that they need. And so must you. The time of being, soft and sweet about this is over. This is your life. You wonder why your hair is falling out? You wonder why your joints are aching? You wonder why your heart palpitates? You wonder why you break out in a sweat when you hear certain voices, when you think of your to-do list? These are things that you can control. These are all things that you can control, and you can control them by taking out time for yourself and breathing and relaxing your body so that it has an opportunity to heal itself. That's it. It's actually really easy. It's actually really, really easy. We make it harder than what it is. So when are you going to get up and make the changes in your life that you keep talking about, that sound good on social media, that make for great conversation? When are you going to actually do it? When are you going to actually do it? When you're ready? I'm ready. I'm here because I'm practicing. I'm no longer in that spiral of not taking care of myself, thinking that I can wait, that I have time, that I'll be fine. Wasn't fine. I was not fine. People who know me know that I'm a straight shooter. And I think I've been going about expressing the need of yoga in our bodies in a way that I thought was palatable for people, but wasn't true to myself and did not really convey my true mission. I want Black folks to be well, period. I want us to be well. I want us to set great examples of wellness for our children and families, for our neighbors. I go outside in the summertime in my yard and I do yoga so that my neighbors can see. I do it so the neighborhood kids can see. so the elders on my block can see. I do it so people can see what movement looks like and may ask a question, may want more information. Our lives are at stake. This isn't about cute pictures on Instagram. This isn't about making cool shapes with your body. Our lives are at stake. Racism kills. The stress of racism kills. The burden of racism kills. What are you doing at that job that is filled with racism? What are you doing to detoxify yourself and to rid yourself of that racism? Or do you just go home and let it stay in your body day in and day out and wonder why you have high blood pressure? What are you doing on your end? Because we can't stop racism, right? We don't have the power to stop the racism from coming at us. We don't have that power. But we have the power of how we allow it to affect our bodies. We do have that power. We can rid ourselves of it through mindful breathing, through sweat, through movement, through chanting, through meditation, through prayer. We can remove the effects of racism. But it's going to take work, collective work, individual work. So what are you doing? How are you showing your children how to survive in this racist world? What tools are you giving them to save their own health, to save their own lives? What tools are you giving them? The tools of complacency? The tools of tomorrow? Well, then you're giving your children a death sentence. You're giving yourself a death sentence. It's no hyperbole. That is what it is. The studies, they tell us. We know the statistics. I started my yoga teaching journey with an emphasis on releasing racial trauma from the body during the George Floyd protests. And then I noticed that talking about racism every day was still taking a toll on me and my mental health and my physical health. So I stopped. I stopped that as a focus, as a talking point of my yoga. And I began to really delve into the ideas of self-compassion and self-love and using yoga to cultivate more of that. But really, that's just the other side of the coin, right? That's the other side of the racial trauma coin. One side is the racial trauma from folks telling you how unworthy and unwanted and unneeded that you are. And the flip side is loving yourself, loving your blackness, loving your culture, loving your skin, loving your hair, loving your lips, loving what you bring to the world. That's the flip side of the coin. And so while I don't use racial trauma as my talking point, because I don't need to, it's not good for me, understand that the work that we are doing in Kemetic Yoga is specifically to rid ourselves of that. It is designed to alleviate the harms of racism. So you can pretend that you live or work in a world where you don't deal with a lot of racism. If you're waking up on this globe, you're being bombarded with anti-blackness every day. You're being bombarded with anti-blackness every single day. And what are you doing to hear a different narrative? What are you doing to give your body a different understanding of life? So, I have a self-paced introduction to Kemetic Yoga and healing racial trauma yoga course for you and your family, with practices for toddlers, preschoolers, middle schoolers, high schoolers, adults, with conversations about racism healing. So if you are interested in actually doing instead of talking, come on over. Sign up. If you are ready to make that change to save your life and to save the lives of your loved ones, sign up. It can't hurt you, but not doing so definitely can.